Coming at you live from DNHQ in beautiful South Pasadena, California. This is, what is this? The Blue Heaven Podcast. You're now home with Dodgers Nation and Jim Beam, my friends. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the stream. I am Clint. You can find me as Real FRG on Twitter and Instagram. That gentleman right there is a fine fellow, and he is a fan of Jim Beam products as well. That is Doug McCain. Find him as DMac_LA on Twitter and Instagram. Doug, happy Monday, comrade.
Happy Monday to you, partner. Hey, it was more celebratory Jim Beam drinking this weekend. Dodgers got their first three-game sweep. Things are looking up in Dodgerland. We back, baby.
We back. It's going to be May, or it is May now, because the calendar turned over, and this is the first time, I guess, we're actually looking at what this team is going to be really about. So, yes, on today's show, we're talking about your Dodgers. We're talking about the weekend Dodgers are back. As I mentioned on Friday, it feels like the Monday shows are happy and the Friday shows were all doom and gloom, so they can't play during the week. They got a case of the Mondays all during the week, so we'll talk a little bit about that. And of course, the big news, the kid is coming up. Gavin Stone will be on the bump at Dodger Stadium on Wednesday, so that's fun. It's been a month of the season, so we got report cards and a whole lot more. There's a giveaway. There's a bunch of stuff on this fine Monday edition of the Blue Heaven Podcast. Before we get into the show, we got to remind you, thank you for the noises, DJ Producer Cody. We're a podcast. We're on all the spots where podcasts live for free, so go there, check it out. Leave a review if you want. Leave some nice 18-star ratings. Helps us out. Really boosts the stuff. And don't forget, this is a live stream. If you want to see us and have us pop into your phones whenever we do go live, subscribe, youtube.com/DodgersNationTV. Hit the bell, leave a like, leave a comment. All that kind of stuff helps out. But as Doug likes to say, you know, this is their show. We're just hosting it. So we want to talk to you guys. Drop it in the comments. If you have any questions about the team, let us know where you're representing Dodgers Nation tonight on Monday. What do you got on the comments side of things there, D-Mac?
Well, first one I got from our friend Craig Osterberg. Hello,
Osterberg.
Clint and D-Mac from the 310. And then Joe Mama said, told you Mr. D-Mac and Clintosaurus, they go 3-0. Hey, I also predicted a sweep, so we were in agreement on that. So, yeah, it's great to see the Dodgers get that sweep. And, yes, Joe Mama, you did call it. DKM says Astros taught Phillies another lesson. We got Elishiva Jones over on YouTube that says Trastros. We got Juice Narrow said, what up, Stoner Nation? Yes, you will be inundated with Gavin Stone content for the next few days, and for good reason. We got Brian Ramos said, yo, this is my first time from East LA. If this is your first time to the channel, welcome. Lots of fun here on the Dodgers Nation YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell. We get some shout outs for the Roku. So, yeah, everyone's excited.
I'm working on it.
Yeah, we're working on it. Hey, Roku, maybe it's a little subliminal, getting a little sponsorship here. D-Mac says, hey, D-Mac Clint, is it really time for Gavin Stone? Might be a good launching point. We're going to get into that. Lots of Gavin Stone thoughts on this episode. We've got Andrew over on YouTube, repping LA from Waco, Texas. Look, Clint, I have my comments back. So that's why I'm kind of excited. I mean,
huge day for you, man.
Big day for me. A little technical difficulty, but the comments are back. You guys are represent Dodgers Nation. We've got Conservative Zach representing from Rosamond, California. We got Coach Charlie over on YouTube says, what is the latest on Lux? Not too much to report on Gavin Lux. You won't see him until the beginning of next season.
I think he's off crutches right now. He was at the stadium when you were there, right?
Yeah, he's off crutches, moving around a little easier these days. And really, it's just about, like he said, when he sustained the injury, just crushing that rehab. And yeah, he also had an LCL and an MCL, so he had multiple knee injuries down there. So it's going to be quite some time. But I think the most important thing is he's engaged a little bit. He is there with the team, so I think that's going to help the process move along. I mean, like you saw from Walker Buehler, just being able to throw. He throws 88 miles per hour on flat ground. If I'm Gavin Stone, I'm looking at someone like a Walker Buehler and saying that's how you attack a rehab. Also,
Lux.
Oh, what did I say?
So you said Stone. I get it. We have
sorry.
Gavin Stone
on the mind. Yeah. No, if I'm Gavin Lux, I'm looking at Walker Buehler and how he crushes rehab. Always getting some tips too from Daniel Hudson. So he's on the mend, and we'll see him next season. We got James Reacts over on YouTube. He says, "Why are they calling up Stone so early? I thought it would be at least summer until we see him." So lots of buzz about Stoner down the comment section, Clint.
I had that same kind of thought process, or I don't know about reaction, but I had that same thought last week. When you're the one, by the way, credit to this guy. I think you're the reason they're calling him up, because you were like, hey, I want to see this guy called up sooner rather than later. And they're finding a way to plug him into the lineup right now or into the rotation, probably for a day. But you would have assumed maybe 3-5 more starts at AAA. But they identified an area of need right now, and we'll get more in on that in a little bit. But first, we got to make sure we're rested up for this game. So I'm gonna grab my Manta Sleep mask here. Why don't you tell the people where they can get themselves one? It's on the thing. Hey, why don't you put it on,
Okay.
and then I'll do it, because Doug is prepared. Manta Sleep, they make the world's best sleep masks and sleep accessories. Doug clearly needed a nap, so now he is going to be locked in and rested, just like the Dodger bats are going to be locked in and rested and ready to do some damage against Phillies pitching. Everything they do at Manta Sleep is to enable better lives through better sleep, and they're going to work relentlessly until you're all not sleepy anymore. They're going to work also relentlessly to improve and optimize sleep so that you can have energy to live your best life. Check out mantasleep.com. It's going to be in the comments. It's going to be a link in the description of this video. Mantasleep.com today. You can sleep better anywhere, anytime. And we have a promo code, 20% off. I think it is, right? 20% off? There's a percentage off with our promo code, DN2023. You guys saw it on the screen if you're watching. Get your Manta mask today. And welcome back to the show, Doug.
Oh, wow. That was a nice
You really
slumber
are into that guy.
there. I really do. I mean,
Phrasing, I guess.
I'm really not a big napper. I've taken like one nap in the last 10 years, but if there's something that could get me to sleep during the day, it'd be that.
He does not sleep at all. All right. We're going to camera 2. Guys, this is the latest in Dodgers Nation. The weekend Dodgers, like I said, are back. We're feeling good about it. The Dodgers are good on weekends, and I get it. Maybe they had their Manta Sleep and they rest up a little bit on Thursdays or whatever, but you got your first sweep of the season. You got a nice 3-game winning streak, and you're feeling good about this team. They're winners of 7 of their last 10 games, and we're finally getting a look at probably what this team is supposed to look like. You're seeing consistency. You're getting guys back. Will Smith in the lineup. The only guy you're really kind of missing right now is JD Martinez. Thoughts on the weekend? I don't know. just dump to these fine people. Some thoughts on these Los Angeles Dodgers.
Yeah, no, a couple different things really come to mind when you really look at this weekend. One, you get key guys back. You get Max Muncy, you get Will Smith back. Both those guys had an impact on this series, but also just the style of play. The last 2 games of the series, they flipped the script on the stolen bases. You saw the Dodgers using those stolen bases. They actually outstole the Cardinals 6-0 in the series.
Wasn't that nice?
It was so nice. And not only are you stealing bases and you're giving yourself an advantage, how about Noah Syndergaard, who has struggled his entire career? He's given up 113 stolen bases and 122 chances since 2018. No stolen bases against Noah Syndergaard yesterday. So, one, they were stealing bases. They were taking advantage of it. They scored 6 runs yesterday and none via the home run ball. So the Dodgers second in all of Major League Baseball in long balls, but none yesterday. And you saw quality at-bats. You saw David Peralta put the ball in play to manufacture a run. You saw Chris Taylor late in yesterday's game.
Yep.
He gets on base, and not only does he steal second, but also he's causing stress on the pitcher, having him disengage and throw over a couple times. And I think the Dodgers, they're looking at the analytics, and they're realizing that, hey, the old style of play, our old approach, yes, it helped us win a lot of games, but now with the rules that encourage stolen bases and a little more activity on the base pass, we're going to start doing that ourselves. And as well as, like I said, I talked to someone at the stadium with the Dodgers that talked about the Dodgers not their inability to hold runners and some of the things he said about that. So if they start to steal more bases and they prevent them, they're going to be a much better place.
And the person he's talking about knows a lot about Dodger baseball and Dodger history, and knows the Tommy Lasorda era of baseball, where there was some more wheels. There was a different brand of baseball, but the brand of baseball we've seen over the last couple of years, and especially now this month, just to open the season, it's very reliant on the home run ball. It just feels like, there was a lot of changes to the game this offseason, and maybe the Dodgers were doing their homework elsewhere, and now they had this first month to try to cram on all their lessons before this rest of the season quiz. I don't know. I'm trying to keep this thing.
I like it.
Trying to keep it all related here, but yeah, I love. I mean, to be fair, the Cardinals were not. The stealing was not part of their game. They're an older team. They're a little bit slower team in some spots, especially when you look at the corner infielders with potential Hall of Famers, but also slow dudes, Nolan Arenado and Paul Goldschmidt. Go Team USA. But they weren't prolific base stealers, and the Dodgers saw some opportunities to take advantage on the bases, and it was nice. And do we think that is something that's going to be part of the game more going forward? I mean, hopefully, maybe. I don't think. I think we needed to see another couple of weeks of this before we really answer that question, because all of it happening against one team, maybe the Cardinals are the same like the Dodgers, where they're just able to give up a bunch of stolen bases, or they allow a bunch of stolen bases because of slow pitching or whatever. But I don't know.
Yeah, I would say to that, I think the Pirates series, I don't know. I think the Pirates series was a big wake-up call. I think it was a shot in the arm for this Dodgers team when you consider the fact that they had stolen more bases in that series than the Dodgers had all year. And they said, wait a second, this is a team that is built to slug, but they're still able to generate runs off us. How are they doing that? I think they paid close attention to it, and they wanted to correct things. Now, to your point, I do think it's going to take more of a sample size. We'll see if they do this against better teams. But I think one thing that sticks out yesterday is they go 1 for 15 with runners in scoring position, yet they're still able to score 6 runs. So to diversify this lineup and make it a little more dynamic, I think that's going to help this team in October. Because, look, the reality is when you're in October and you're facing elite pitching, you can't outslug opponents each and every night. So now we've seen that. I mean, it reared his ugly head last year against the San Diego Padres. So I like a concerted effort to take advantage of the new rules. And look, Freddie Freeman, I mean, he had played over 1,700 games in his career. He steals 2 bases in one game for the first time in his career. With the new rules, everyone's looking like Ricky Henderson out there on the base pass. So why not take advantage, get to those extra bases, take advantage of those big, large pizza boxes, as they say. So I definitely like it. And yeah, I think as a whole, I want to see it continue, especially when you have athletes like a James Outman, like Chris Taylor. Yeah. The key is for him to be a productive player and get on the base pass. So yeah, I think it's a step in the right direction. I think this team, first 3-game sweep of the season. I mean, they beat the Rockies for 2 games, but I mean, is a 2-game sweep even really a sweep? I mean, that's debatable, but
it barely counts.
It barely counts. I agree, but I think you do consider that the Cardinals have had a rough start to this season. But yeah, lots to like. And also, I mean, look at Saturday's game. I felt like I was watching the 1963 Dodgers with Sandy Koufax on the mound and Maury Wills getting on base, getting him over and getting in. And then we see Austin Barnes. He gets the hit to give the Dodgers just 1 run. So they did it with elite starting pitching on Saturday. Sunday, the bullpen really came through. The bullpen scoreless all throughout the series, 7 1/3.
Shout out to a good bullpen figuring it out. Let's bring the comments back in here on the 3 shot. I do want to point out one of the things that Freddie said over the weekend. I think it was after Sunday's game. It's the last 10 days, it's much better baseball that we've been playing, and it shows in what we're all watching with our eye holes. This team doing. It's not just about the Bamba, ugly series where they got ran over by the Pirates aside. It's still good baseball, and like I said, they're winners of 7 of 10 games, and they're doing a little bit of everything, and it all kind of coincides with getting important pieces back. Of course, Will comes back on Friday. You win 3 games in a row, you feel good there. Like I said, JD's out, but Jason Hayward is hitting. Everything is kind of working well where you can't help but feel really good heading into May.
Yeah, I think they need a series like this where you get contributions from a Jason Hayward who has been hitting the ball hard all year, just hasn't really seen the results as much. Even David Peralta, it's like he went 1 for 19 last week, but was still able to get some productive outs. But I think the biggest development for me in the last week or so, last 8 days, is the progression of the bullpen. Guys are starting to pitch to their capabilities. Yesterday, Yency Almonte, he has a scoreless inning. Alex Vesia had those big punch outs. You're even seeing Evan Phillips, who at the very beginning of the year, he really wasn't looking very Evan Phillips-ish. You weren't seeing the Dr. Filth out there, the Fireman Phillips, but no, he's starting to look like a guy that gets the strikeouts, also has the cutter playing up. But to me, the biggest standout, too, has to be your guy, Mr. Brusdar Graterol. 9 straight appearances, hasn't allowed a run. You're seeing the strikeout rate at over 25%. He continues to induce off contact. So I think the bullpen, the way they're trending, if these guys can produce, you get a Hudson back. You get a Reyes in the middle of the summer. You add a Chris Martin type arm. I think this bullpen has a chance to be just okay. I think guys are adjusting pretty well at this point.
I don't even think you need to add anybody at this point. You already have the guys in the organization, and you want a potential Chris Martin type guy. I'll do you one better. It can do you a Bobby Miller at some point, who just made his 2023 debut in AAA. Walker Buehler throwing 88 miles an hour. What are we at? 8, 6, 7 months after? I don't know. I'm just taking a guess on the number here, but not terribly long after Tommy John surgery. Could be, might be, likely won't be September option, but he really wants it. You don't need to make a trade if this bullpen stays the way it is. If anything, you're going to have some very tough questions in exactly about a month from now when Hudson potentially is available. Hey, we don't know what's going on with Jimmy Nelson. The expectations are below the floor right now, but if you're able to get some sort of thing, something out of him, could really be an asset again. And I guess we gotta send some praise to Andrew Friedman, as we usually end up having to do either way, because it's exactly what he said. Like, hey, we feel good about this bullpen core. We think some guys just aren't in the right spot. We just need to pull some levers, as Andrew said it, to get guys in the right position to succeed, and they are succeeding right now. And I would say over the last 10 days, probably one of the better bullpens in baseball.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at all the numbers across the board, they're definitely in the top 5 or 10. In most categories, you do want to see the strikeout numbers tick up. I mean, Shelby Miller striking guys out, Alex Vesia starting to strike guys out.
Another guy I wanted to say, I gotta give a direct props to Andrew about signing Shelby Miller, because once again, everybody's talking about, the Syndergaard signing was a flop and all of this, but nobody wants to say, oh shit, Shelby Miller's working out well. Very well for this bullpen so far.
He really is a 1.5 ERA. That 23.4 strikeout rate is only going to go up. The FIP is a little bit of an imbalance with the ERA, but hey, if you watch my video in the offseason, his ability to throw strikes and get hitters to freeze at strikes in the zone is very uncanny. So I like Shelby Miller. I think he's a big physical dude, mound presence. I think he continues to trend in the right direction. And you knew when they were going to give him that minor league, that major league contract, that they were going to invest in him and give him a big opportunity to have a role. But I still think, hey, guys it's going to be more of a premium to get those punch out artists, to have guys that can miss bats. And look at the Chicago White Sox. You look at Liam Hendricks, who has a full, clean bill of health out there, and you package him with some of those other guys, he's basically going to be under contract for next year if you do trade for him at $15 million. So if they want to go crazy, let's say Daniel Hudson comes back, older guy, 36, 37 years old. If he doesn't look like the pitcher that he was last season before he had the ACL injury, maybe you look to get that power closer. Yeah. And we know with Dave Roberts, if you get a power closer you can trust, it makes things easier to manage that bullpen, because yes, we love closer by committee, but if you have that one solidified guy, it definitely helps.
Dave is not comfortable with closer by committee, but you have Hudson, you also have Alex Reyes, and you have some time to see if these guys can either come back, and two, if they can be effective and dominant. If not, you'll still have about a month to play with, or a few weeks to play with before the deadline, to be like, all right, let's go to the one-stop shop known as the Chicago White Sox or somebody like that. And I want to give a brief shout out to Bruzdar, proving me wrong, because I was saying I did not see him developing the slider as crispy as it's been of late, just because of his delivery in his arm slot. His short arm delivery was not conducive to a very consistent, clean, sexy slider like we've seen. But right now, that thing is just, it's dipping, and he's striking it, as Dave would say. So I really like the fact that Dave's been kind of throwing him in that ninth inning a few times here and there as well. So good job to see, or it's not good job, it's fun to see Bruzdar coming in. But let's get some comments going here. We've been lacking on him again. So I had one saved from earlier. Jeremy Hughes says, "Go Dodgers. I like the way the Dodgers are going. I believe in the long run they will be the team to beat. We'll see how they are after 60 games. Then you should have a good idea of how they are." And I really like that point. I think 60 game is a good marker of what your ball club is going to look like.
Yeah, I think that's a fair amount. I think you look at the schedule in May, lots of tough opponents. You look at this team getting fully healthy, getting guys back from the paternity leave, really having a roster closer to what they expected it to look like. Yes, I think that is a good amount. But look, this team last year, they didn't get off to a great start. They were 13-7, which is definitely solid, but then they took off in the month of May. So that has really been the jumping off point in seasons in the past. So yeah, I think this month, having guys healthy, seeing what they can do, I think it's going to go a big way into assessing what this team really has. And that's always been what the beginning of the season was about, when you're considering that they were ushering in all that young talent.
I got a comment here. I decided I'm gonna call this our Hornitos shot taker of the day for this segment at least. Hey guys, drink your Hornitos and drink responsibly if you're doing it. But Brash Cat on YouTube says, shout out the old man Kershaw proving me wrong. Clayton Kershaw has as many wins as the Oakland Athletics with 5. He leads. He's tied for the lead in all of baseball with 5 wins, and he's right there near or in the lead in well, not in the lead, but he's right near the lead, the top of leaderboards in every important pitcher category. I mean, it feels like this guy can just keep pitching until he decides he doesn't want to pitch anymore, which we hope is not until he's, in his 40s.
Yeah, no, I think what really struck me when I watched his start on Saturday was he has the counting stats like a Don Sutton, but he has the rate in the peak stats like a Sandy Koufax. So it really is the best of both worlds. As you mentioned, really top of the league in a lot of different categories, or in the top 5 to 10. If you look at that ERA, if you look at the innings pitched, that's what really stands out to me. 38 innings pitched, right towards the top of the National League. And really after games, a lot of times, if you try to give praise to Clayton Kershaw, he doesn't love it. But when you mention an innings and him leading the league in innings, he really embraced that, because it means it's a team thing. He's going out there, giving them 6 quality starts.
He's the most old school guy that I think is left in baseball, outside of somebody like Max Scherzer, old man Justin Verlander. Kershaw is that guy. He's got that old school dog in him. He's that old hobbled bull terrier walking around just thumping around the front yard still, but he's ready to throw down when somebody doesn't belong in the yard.
No,
what a horrible. It was I think really good, but also just the worst thing I've ever said.
It was great. I loved it. No,
I've been doing this shit for like 6 years. All right, guys.
I think the thing about Kersh if you look at this rotation, you give Julio Urias that opening day start, but we're in year 16. He is still the best pitcher on this team. He's still the ace of the Dodgers. He's gone at least 6 innings in every start this year, and his command has been absolutely brilliant. He's throwing strikes 71.3% of the time. That's first in all of Major League Baseball as a 3.5 walk rate. If you look at his game scores above 80 against the Mets and the Cardinals, he has 2 of the 20 80-plus game scores this season. So he is pitching at an elite level once again. I feel like he's almost underrated at this stage of his career. He absolutely is. And I think, look, one thing that really stood out to me in his post-game press conference was when he said that in years past, we haven't been able to give the innings and the starts. I think that it's his personal mission to find a way to get 28 starts, to go over 150 innings pitched. And if he does that, and if he's even close to being Thompson League in the National League, I'm hoping he makes a run at his 4th Cy Young and becomes the 5th pitcher in Major League Baseball history to have 3 or more Cy Youngs. I definitely think that is something that could drive him just continuing to have sustained success. And you see guys like Verlander who have been able to start the season. Max Scherzer, sticky stuff merchant. No, but he's struggled. DeGrom, he's in and out of the lineup.
Yeah.
He is still one of the best pitchers at this age, having accomplished everything. And it's just such a sight to see. Every time you go, every Kershaw day, I'm a big believer in Christianity. You know that I worship this man. Every time it's a Kershaw day, you have to absolutely embrace it. This is a pitcher that when he's long gone, we're going to miss Kershaw days. He's going out there, and he's still, without him, this rotation would be in shambles right now, because he's really been the only top 25 pitcher in the league on this team.
Everything, a million spot on points.
I love that guy.
Really, kids, you need to soak up as much Clayton Kershaw as you can get from now until the time he retires, because you will never see another player like this dude. I firmly stand on that. I do not think you're going to see a guy of this caliber for this long in his career and all that kind of stuff. But Brash Cat, thank you for the hot shot, being a shot taker of the show so far. Brought to you by our friends at Hornitos, because that's some good conversation. Anytime we could talk about Clayton Kershaw is a good time.
No question about it, man. He's just the ultimate professional, and he is going to compete each and every start and really compete like it's the World Series. I mean, that day, his intensity is palpable. I've been around a lot of guys in that clubhouse, but he is the most intense guy. And you would think someone that's accomplished as much as him maybe would have it tail off a little bit or anything like that. But no, every single start really is meaningful for him. And like I said, we have Kershaw on a 1-year, very team-friendly contract.
That's another thing that's like you always, not always, but like you've pointed out a few times on your Twitter, something that does not get talked about enough. When you get DeGrom, who's been on the IL twice, and now they don't know how long he's going to be out in Texas, and he's doing it for almost double the amount of money Kershaw's getting this year. And Kershaw's just like, bro, I got money. I just want to play baseball and try to win. And I think at this point too, I can't envision him. A year or two ago, yeah, like Texas is really on the table. I think now he appreciates that much more what being a Dodger for life would mean for his, the back of his baseball card, which I don't even know if is a thing anymore, for his baseball reference page, having it be 19 years in Dodger blue or whatever it's going to end up at. I think that's something extremely special for him. Thinking about that.
Think about that. That is crazy. That is a long freak. Like baseball cards are definitely back into like it's going back into the market.
Is it like vinyl?
They're definitely very. I
the
mean,
rookie ones. Maybe like
baseball cards are back. I would say they definitely have had a resurgence.
Yeah.
But one thing that was funny on Saturday is he goes out there on the mound. He's doing his routine, and they had a backup guy playing the music on Saturday. I don't know who it was, and they're starting to play his music, his fun, the dun 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 dun, and it stops. And his routine's kind of thrown off, and he kind of looks up there, and they're like, the guy's like scrambling, like, play his music, where's his music? And there's like dun 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 dun, and he still's not going. And then finally they get it, and they're playing, and then he's really back at it. But it just shows like what a creature of habit he is with his routine. Yeah. Don't mess up Clayton. I was like, oh, this is going to be a bad start with Kersh, but flirting with perfection, 4 1/3 innings of perfect baseball. And yeah, one thing I hope to see this season is 2,848 strikeouts. Needs 152 more for 3,000. But if you give him 6.8 strikeouts per starts, if he made 22 more starts, he could get close to 150 Ks on the year.
If he does hit that, what you said, like 28 strikeout or 28 start, he's going to get there.
Doug, the human calculator.
Hey, he hasn't made 28 starts since 2019, 22 the last 2 years. If he gets 150 more strikeouts, gets over that 3,000 strikeout plateau, wouldn't that be a magical season for Kersh? And I agree with you. I definitely think it's to the point where I don't think he does play with another organization, because I think he thrives off the atmosphere at Dodger Stadium. He loves wearing that Dodger blue. He's such an iconic pitcher. I just can't imagine him ever leaving. So I hope he gives him a couple good years, man. And just rides off in the sunset with the World Series.
And before we end Kershaw talk, because this is now Kershaw, Blue Kershaw heaven. Maybe not Blue Kershaw. Those words don't go together like that. But thank you, Clayton, for everything you've done for this organization, for the fan base so far. Cody, you got something for me?
Dude, this is dark, secret news right here. BC said he was a lineman for Rams QB Matt Stafford. What, bro? Are they best friends or something?
Friends with Matthew Stafford?
That is crazy.
Of the Ramleys?
No way, dude. That is
BC. How'd you find that out, bro? Hey, send me that link, bro.
Web?
That's he must have gotten that in the black market or something. Wow.
I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
Shocker. I know I got you with that one, Clint.
Man, that's so good. It's the greatest.
I remember when I asked Justin Turner which player would be the best football player, and he said, well, Clayton Kershaw is a pretty good lineman. So, hey, I think the guys know. But
you got to think about James Outman, though.
Oh, James,
you know his entire high school.
93 tackles. We're going to be dropping that highlights.
You really need to just take this home, because bro needs to sleep a little more than just staying up on Football Reference and Basketball Reference.
Doug, when we dropping the
morning.
James Outman football highlights?
All right, let's move on, boys. Carnivorous Interactivity asks DKM in the chat, wondering if Trey Turner hits with a Manta sleep mask on. Could be.
Could be. I think it could.
I mean, if he's smart about it.
He definitely should.
Did you know he slides? Did you know he hits for power?
How much money did that get him? I mean,
Did we mention power?
Did mention he hits for power?
Did you know that
they literally gave John Hamm money for that stupid?
He did a great job.
No, John Hamm should go. Did you know that Freddie Freeman has more stolen bases than Trey Turner this year?
Oh, what do you know about fat? Isn't it tight? I think
Fire
I thought it was
it's
more.
tight. I don't
Really?
know. I don't know
Okay.
what it is. I don't know.
Hello?
But anyways, let's see. Christian Reyes says Bazooka Gratterall just got some ammo. We're way behind in the comments, so let's go forward a bit. What do you got? Oh, we got an AMC7 saying thank you, CK. So we got some love from Kershaw or for Kershaw. Tom Allen says, yo, it's because of Sandy Koufax. Hey, you got to give a lot of, Koufax for sure, but another guy you need to credit a lot for Kershaw becoming Kershaw is old friend Ned Colletti, because he's the guy who sent him back down to the minor leagues and said, you need a third pitch, buddy boy. It's exactly how the conversation went. And that third pitch became a Hall of Fame slider, which is honestly really a cutter, but don't tell Kershaw that.
And you got to also give a lot of credit to Mike Borzello, the Dodgers bullpen catcher coach, and he of course he of course put him onto that pitch, and that really changed everything. Because I mean, you're talking about a guy that's fastball, that's curveball, throws that slider, and that really is the recipe of his success. And that's one thing that if you get a chance to see Clayton Kershaw pitch, go to a Dodger game, make a pilgrimage to Dodger Stadium for my Christians out there. If you go there and see a pitch, I mean, the way he tunnels that slider off that fastball, it's uncanny. I mean, Freddie Freeman's talked about it. It looks like a fastball, it just falls off the table. And when you have that pristine command, you're going to be able to have longevity in this league. It's not about chasing velocity. It's about chasing command, in my opinion. Kershaw, he embodies that.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. He very much enjoys it.
I'm done with Kershaw. Move on.
This is 14 hours. Into hour 75 of Clayton Kershaw. Yeah,
it's the most fun thing I do.
I can't wait for Doug's 30 on 30 or 30-30 whatever about Kershaw. DN 30 for 30.
The rising goatness of Clayton Kershaw.
DKM also importantly, he says smash that like button for the non-sleepy D-Mac.
Yo.
Rested. Thanks
DKM. Appreciate you.
Fire Dude 4021 or 4021 says, any news on Ryan Pepio? Nothing yet. Nothing right now. Last Dave told us anything was that he hadn't picked up a baseball yet. That was about 2 weeks ago. This oblique got him real good, so I think they're really looking at him, and the fact that they transferred him to the 60-day IL, they're looking at him June. I think we probably see something in the next week or two where he's starting to move around, push some chairs around, and toss a baseball around at Dodger Stadium. Probably when they get back from this road trip, or maybe even on the road trip. But I don't think we're going to see anything still for another week or so. Unless you've heard otherwise on the Pepio front.
I don't got it like that, my man.
Come on, insider.
I think it almost kind of feels like he's been the forgotten one in the mix, because he's the guy who won that spot coming out of spring training. Unfortunately, they had the oblique injury. He does say that they caught it early enough that hopefully that will help him get back on the mound sooner than later. But those oblique injuries can be very, very tricky. And the sooner he gets back, the sooner he can prove what he has as a starting pitcher. So
I don't know about oblique injuries. I don't believe in them. I don't have any.
Yeah.
What you got for
my
me, Chief?
future is oblique.
We got a super chat.
Let's go!
Shout out to Michael Carrillo of $5. He said, D-Mac, remember my super chat about Olivares? I think that's how you say his last name. Yesterday, can fill Trace's roster spot because he can actually hit lefties.
Yeah, I mean, OPS over 800, definitely having a good start to the season, but I still think it's still pretty early to make a deal like that. I do think Trace Thompson, I mean, there's really nothing that points to, he's going to turn things around, that he's going to remain on this roster for that much longer. And I love what Trace has been able to do. I think last year was a great story, but unfortunately, he's just not putting together quality big league at-bats. Anytime you're striking out over 50% of the time. And Dave, when I asked him about his his inability to hit against lefties. He said that lefties are trying to crowd him at the plate and they're trying to take advantage. And you're seeing it. So really, you're seeing the attack zone against him, and he's really just not able to make an adjustment at this point. But what are you seeing from Trace?
I'm seeing a dude who's very lost. Dave was asked again about Trace because, as you usually do, you inspire the conversation. So Doug over here got the regular media folks talking and asking Dave the same exact questions one day later, and they asked about Trace because the team, they went throwback. Dave went throwback Thursday on him on a Sunday of all days, but they went with the playing pepper. They had Trace Thompson just doing bat to the ball, hit it back to the coach. You know, we all played pepper as a kid or drunk in our teens or whatever it is, if you're into that. And they're what that says is they're trying to do anything to get this guy feeling confident. As Dave said, you know, it's a little competition for him as well, so it gives him something to be positive about, to have fun, get bat to ball going. He was also asked, you know, do you think of anybody going through their struggles, it weighs the most on Trace Thompson mentally right now? And Dave's like, probably, yeah. And that's where it's at right now. Thompson is so far gone in his own head, which I totally understand. It's an extremely tough situation for him. He knows his history, that nothing is given. The only reason he's still on this roster is because of the feel-good story of last year. And yeah, last year he was good. But last year he wasn't good at the job they needed him to be good at this year, which is hitting left-handed pitching. He remains very bad at it, hitting, 083 on the year or something like that against lefties. I'm sorry I called it before the season, but if we see Trace still on the roster when JD Martinez comes back, that'd be incredibly shocking.
Yeah, and I want to ask you because, you look at, 25 strikeouts and 45 at-bats. He's hitting 156 even with that 3-homer game. You've seen Jason Hayward, who comes into camp and he totally changes his swing. And you've seen he's had a lot more success getting his bat to the ball. When in years past, he had a very long swing. And you see Trace at the plate, when it's high velocity, especially up in the zone, he just does not have a chance to get to that. He's really out in front on spin a lot as well. Why don't you think he's kind of made an adjustment to kind of shorten his swing and trying to increase his chances? You just think that's just kind of who he is at the plate?
That's his swing. I think he has one swing. It's when it's on, it's a great swing, but when that pitch does come in, like we're seeing, like Dave's talking about, like we're seeing teams do, it's a wide swing. It's a golf swing, if we're being honest. It's just on a different plane. Yeah. And in golf, you don't really pull in and get that inside. He does not have that out to in, flare it to right field swing in his bag right now, or club in his bag, to borrow from more Davisms.
Yeah, no, I think you're not seeing him get inside on baseballs, nothing like that. And yeah, I just think
the balls are beating him.
Yeah, just straight up. It's just so, look, there's nothing more difficult. Basically, maybe getting into the ring with Mike Tyson. In sports, really, it's nothing harder than hitting big league pitching. And
he's ruthless. His defense is impregnable. I'll eat your children.
Yeah,
thank you.
I'm Mike Tyson. I'm a fight. I'm a boxer. No, but yeah, no, I agree with you.
Welcome back to Tyson Talk.
Welcome to Tyson Nation. But
where's Hezbollah?
But yeah, it'll be very interesting to see what they do with Trace moving forward. I think he does look a little dejected out there, and I think it is weighing on him because, look, it's just got to be so frustrating because he puts in the work. He gets there early. He's a grinder as far as the at-bats and trying to turn things around. But unfortunately, like you said, at some point when you're north of 30, your swing is your swing. Yeah. There's not a lot of adjustments that you can make when you've had these habits your entire career, essentially.
I wouldn't even say frustrating is the right word for Trace anymore. It's just disheartening. Like, at this point, you have to put yourself in this guy's shoes. This is probably my last chance at the big leagues, and already having that pressure on your shoulders, combined with teams being mean to you and pitching you the way to get you out. It's tough. It sucks. I would love to have been wrong about it, but I'm not. He doesn't belong on the roster right now. He hasn't earned the roster spot this year.
Yeah, no one wants to take a victory lap when you predict that a player has performed poorly. I'm the same way with Noah Syndergaard and some of my preseason predictions on him. It's not like we want them to do bad. I want the Dodgers to win. I want every hitter to have 100 home runs and every pitcher to throw perfect games and no hitters, but that's just not the reality. And I think you got to shoot the fans straight, and that's why they come to this channel.
Subscribe. hit that notification bell, leave a like, all that kind of stuff. All right. We've been talking a long time. Let's rapidly get through a couple more things here. Roster stuff. Miguel Rojas is back from the injured list. Hamstring all good. He went 2 for 6 down at single A and had a home run, couple ribbies, couple runs scored. So he seems good enough. So they reward him with a spot on El Bencho. Austin wins. Thanks for stopping by. DFA'd, as you'd assume. They felt good after Will Smith's game last night, where they, I guess, technically DFA'd him yesterday, or it was out that it was going to happen. So officially done today. So Michael Busch also survives a little longer. There was just an update I saw a minute ago. Somebody put it in the stream, so thank you who mentioned that. But JD Martinez, it looks like, is not going to be back for the San Diego series on Friday. He could be activated as soon as Friday, but that's not looking like the case. So when you're in your mid-30s and you feel your back barking, don't stay in the game.
Yeah.
That's kind of...
Said soon as he could be back is in Milwaukee.
Why are you sad about it?
Jeez, bro, you hug?
He sounded really sad about it.
No, just reporting
It's a
the
happy
news.
show, man.
All
We're
right,
talking about
as soon
Trey
as he
Thompson.
could be back is in Milwaukee.
Let's go, man. Let's see what else we got here. I wanted to ask you real quick before I plug another thing. MLB.com, MLB Power Rankings dropped today. Dodgers win 7 of 10 games, 3 straight against Cardinals, and they dropped from 8th place to 11th place. Any thoughts on the whole power rankings process, and does this mean anything to you?
I read them. It doesn't mean that
Read
they
everything. Come
Well, it
on
doesn't
now.
mean that they. But
How many
doesn't-
Substacks you subscribe to? Let's be real.
Man, I'd be feeding a lot of people out there, but no, for sure. It doesn't mean that much, but I think really when you see these power rankings, Clint, it's usually like the next week that you see whatever actually happened when they're changing things, when they're actually making adjustments, taking effect. So the narrative last week was everyone's stealing on the Dodgers. The Dodgers haven't swept the team. They're losing. Their bullpen's bad. Yeah. Next week, you'll see it take effect, and they'll start to climb up the rankings. But, look, the Pirates, 20-9, that to me is going to be an aberration. They'll come back down to earth. Even the Braves, 19-10, they're solid. But there's no real teams out there. The Tampa Bay Rays, who we beat in the 2020 World Series, fun fact. They've gone off to a great start, and they've just outslugged their opponents. Their pitching's been really solid, but there's no team out there that, especially in the National League, that's a juggernaut that I don't think the Dodgers, if everyone plays their capabilities and maybe they make 1 or 2 moves, they compete with them in a season. So I'm not too upset about that. I do want to see them climb up and really join the league elites, because we almost have just gotten spoiled. It seems like every time we've clicked on that for the last 50 years, it's 1, 3, 4, 5. But hey, look, let's give a little chip on our shoulder.
Chip on our shoulder. I'm down.
I gotta drink a
That's
water.
That's the name of this episode. Chip on our shoulder. No,
take a sip of that Hornitos, baby.
Got a spit take out of Doug on some fine Hornitos. No,
but does it bother you?
What?
Does it bother you that they're
no?
Okay.
These people start writing those things on like Thursday, probably. Man, it's a pretty heavy column, and they don't try very hard. I'm more interested in. I like looking at. I think it goes. MLB comes out on Monday, The Athletic on like Wednesday, and then ESPN.com after that. So then just go to DodgersNation.com. We'll tell you about all of them afterwards on Friday. But
and if they beat the Brewers on the road, have a good series, then that means they beat the number 4 team. Hopefully they climb for that. But yeah,
these things are I would say, I don't know if it's such a crock, but like shouldn't, by virtue of their record and them kind of being a surprise in their own way, shouldn't the Diamondbacks be above the Dodgers on the power rankings? Because they've been in the lead in the NL West the entire season. So power rankings they're fun for a Monday. It's an easy column to drop.
It's almost like NCAA rankings. UCLA ranked number 2. They lose in the Sweet 16. All these rankings, they forget about them the minute the NCAA tournament actually starts, right? But, yeah, they're fun to read. I think when you look at – I like the Orioles, too. Orioles made a pretty nice jump. I like that young team, that Orioles squad.
I think we should talk about all baseball teams, but I gave Doug an opportunity to talk about all MLB. One of these days, man, me and you should just start our own MLB channel.
Let's go.
All MLB. We'll call it Jim Boy. And we'll just play baseball and tear our shoulders off. But
talking regular baseball.
Terry Hesticles, great name on YouTube. Terry Hesticles says, Power rankings don't mean squat in the long run. We need another. Oh, we don't need another NLDS tragedy. It's fair. And I think we were saying before the season, we liked the idea of not everybody just being, coddling the Dodgers. I mean, oh, this is the Dodgers. They can't. No one could take down the powerhouse, mighty Dodgers. Well, they did. They did some moves or didn't do some moves that created a roster that wasn't good for 1 month, and that's fun. That's fine. I like the idea of a little come from behind season in a way. But Terry adds, it's barely May. Lots of baseball still to play. The boys in blue will come back around. Positive, power positive drinking there. Brian Ramos with the $1.99 super chat. Let's go. I don't know what this means though. It says video game controller gives a thumbs up and says GG.
Yeah,
maybe a good game.
Well,
I don't understand the relation.
In the context of like when it happened, I
appreciate
don't remember.
it.
But yeah, shut
Brian, if you want to explain it, we'll read it as well. You don't need to pay for it.
Throw down money, we'll read it.
I'm down. Yeah, you guys know we read everything that people pay for. It's just it literally spotlights it for us to not miss. So that lifestyle. That's what I'm saying here. Let's take a break. Speaking about money and things, we really like these super chats. Not really. We don't use them on my bookie, but you guys can or something. I don't know. But hey, MLB is in full swing for sure. The MLB season is back, and MyBookie is going to be your one-stop shop for all your betting needs. With a wide range of betting options, including money lines, run lines, totals, and futures, MyBookie gives you plenty of ways to bet on your favorite teams and players. You can also take advantage of the brand new MyBookie Money Bag, which gives you the chance to secure a bet on your favorite team or player at insanely, that really hurts my shoulder, boosted odds. Sign up today at MyBookie and use promo code Dodgers Nation. Yes, there is an S in there. Some people like to forget it. I'm just saying. You can secure a first deposit bonus up to $1,000. Guys, it's simple. Deposit $200. You're going to play with $300 instantly. Use that promo code. Again, it's Dodgers Nation. Look at how beat up this paper is to claim your bonus. So if you're a baseball fan looking to add even more excitement to the new season, or to the current season, we should say, look no further than MyBookie. Sign up now and get ready to experience the thrill of baseball betting like never before. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.
What a read.
All right, let's talk about the things everybody really wants to talk about. And I know this guy right there really wants to talk about. The biggest story of the week is Gavin Stone, whose stuff is nastier, changeup is nastier than a porta potty bathroom at Coachella.
Yep.
The Gavin Stone era is here. Asterisk. We don't know how long, but you called for it. I already said it earlier in the show. You called for it, and the Dodgers provided. Why now? That's the question. Is it just a break in the rotation, or do the Dodgers have that Padres series in mind, which this would line up Dustin May to start game one? Then you got Kershaw on Saturday. Then you have a little bit of optionality to go Syndergaard on Sunday Night Baseball or pivot to Tony Gonsolin on regular rest. But what do you think? Why now?
Yeah, I've been trying to dig in pretty much the annals of my brain thinking maybe this is something beyond just resetting the rotation. I mean, really, when you talk about 19 games in 20 days, when you consider that Dustin May is coming off his last start where he threw a career high in 104 pitches, Wednesday would be Dustin May's turn in the rotation. And when you come up and you bring Gavin Stone for that start, well, you can use Dustin May against the Padres, and he's going to get some additional rest. So I think that really is what it's all about. But also, too, you're not going to call up Gavin Stone unless he's balling down at AAA, and he's been doing just that. He's coming off his best start of the season, had 8 punch-outs in 5 innings of work. He allowed just 1 run on 3 hits with 2 walks. And if you look at his numbers on the year, they don't blow you away. A 4.74 ERA in 24 2/3 innings, the strikeout rate at 25.7%, the walk rate over 11%. But last 2 starts, he's almost striking out 40% of the batters that he faced during spring training. When we saw him, he struck out 16 of the 27 batters he's faced. He's nasty. And I think what I'm looking at when it comes to Gavin Stone is I look back at last year. How did Ryan Pepio look when he came up and he made his first start? He really struggled with that command. Yeah. And at times, Stone struggles with his command too, but their changeups are very different. He's got that changeup that has that tumbling effect. He tunnels it so well off his fastball. So if he's not generating the swing and miss with his changeup, he's still getting strikes. And first couple games, I mean, he was getting squeezed on the corners, got some bad calls against him. But, yeah, I think he's ready to come up and make his big league debut. As to why the Dodgers are doing it, I think it's pretty much as simple as that 19 games in 20 days. And, look, I mean, a couple theories that I was cooking up. Maybe are they trying to showcase him for GMs? Because, okay, the PCL is notorious for being such a hitter's league. You can see him in the minor league level come up, and then if he balls out, you trade him for Shohei Ohtani on a 1-for-1. No, but he's not that good. But or maybe are they giving Noah Syndergaard some additional time off to work on his mechanics? Maybe that's a possibility. Are they considering DFAing Noah Syndergaard? I don't think they are, because it's still too early for that. They definitely want to get innings out of him, and you want to wait closer to the deadline if you're going to move off from him. But yeah, I think it's just a nice soft landing at home on a Wednesday in a day game against the Phillies, who having Bryce Harper back, who he comes back 5 days after having Tommy John surgery, which is very impressive. But, yeah, I think the time is now, and I think there's really nothing else for him to prove down in OKC. And I think sometimes you trust the player if he has it mentally, and his poise, his swagger, his moxie, his mound presence, it really points to someone that can go up here and handle this role. And I think he's ready for it. Stoner season is here.
Yeah, can't wait to. As I saw one comment earlier, I should say, I'm very high on Stoner.
I love that.
That's what we're gonna go with. But
I love that.
Last Friday, I wasn't for it just because of I would like to see him come up and get maybe a 3-start run. Everything points to it's gonna be one and done, which is fine. It does blow an option or whatever, but he's going to be up at some point this year, and he's probably going to be up for an extended run. Again, I'm going to throw back to Kershaw and Ned Colletti. Kershaw had to come up, make some starts for the league or for the team to learn, hey, this is what you need against major league hitters. It's an opportunity to kind of get his stuff as good as possible to face teams in the thick of a playoff hunt or pennant run or whatever we want to call it sometime in August or September, ideally with the Dodgers, mind you. As it's happened, I'm kind of okay with it. Some people in the comments, I'm more okay with it, I should say. Some people in the comments, they're really looking at this for Stone to take Syndergaard's spot. Back-to-back comments here, Jose Ayala, no relation. Says Stone to take Syndergaard's spot. Brady Horton says Stone will replace Syndergaard. Mike M, stick a spear in Thor. He's done. B Guzman, Syndergaard will eat Stone. So I guess we got a pro Thor guy in here.
Dave Roberts said that Dustin May is penciled in for Wednesday to start on Wednesday, but he said that the decision wasn't finalized yet.
That's fun. Well, I guess we should have thrown in the caveat of reportedly Gavin Stone will be starting on Wednesday. I still think he will.
He said the May start wasn't finalized yet, so,
I mean, even Dodgers.com had something. So, yeah.
Everybody had. It looks like it's a pretty firm rumor. I don't know why Dave and the organization is trying to, I don't know if it's hide it, but why they're treating it the way they have, which is, he was hiding his kind of sly smile as Dave does when he was talking about it yesterday, when he was saying if he was going to come up, it would be for this reason.
It's a pencil. He can erase.
That's why it's in pencil. So that's just Dave for you. That's Dave, for some reason, making it a mystery. But everybody knows. And, if it's on Dodgers.com, it's going to be out there. You trust Juan Toribio, friend of the show. Just saying.
Yeah, no, he's definitely, I think he's in line. I mean, I don't think they would have that information leaked the way they did without being pretty comfortable with the
Confirmed
idea of it.
Confirmed by a few people, too.
Yeah.
A few other outlets.
Yeah.
DKM says DFA Thor and sign Charlie Sheen. What do you think about Wild Thing in the back end of the bullpen?
Wow, I love it, man. Wow, dang. Yeah, you know what someone said?
Hey, kids.
Someone said on the post-game show yesterday, I forgot his name, so I can't give him credit, but I'll look back and find it.
It was me.
His name, I forgot what he said. He said, he's more like, we were just kind of going back and forth on stuff, and he goes, yeah, he's more like Noah Cinderblock because he's holding this rotation down. He's weighing this rotation down. That's what he said. So, yeah, I think the fan base has sort of turned on Syndergaard a little bit. I think yesterday you saw some adjustments with the curveball, but still he hasn't looked like the guy who was going to return to form. But, yeah, I think Gavin Stone, he is, to me, no question about it, the best pitcher to come out of this farm system since Walker Buehler. And I think, too, we talked to Ryan Pepio, and he also said that he benefited from using some of those options. And you use the big leagues as the opportunity, and you go right back to the tape. You go right back into the lab down at the minor league level, and you try to refine some things and work on things. And look, the reality is if this team doesn't go out there and make some big trades, if guys do go down and get injured, that they're going to need someone like Gavin Stone, not just to come up and be a back end of your rotation guy. They're going to need Gavin Stone to come up there and be a guy that has an impact. And to me, you have to think big picture. And Gavin Stone, with that changeup, he has the potential to be a guy that could, as a rookie, come up and have a big impact. I mean, scouts will tell you he's not like he's in the conversation for who has the best changeup. It's flat out the consensus. He has the best changeup in minor league baseball, and I think it's going to translate to the pros because of that tumbling effect, because of the tunneling, and just because he has the efficiency with it. Whereas Ryan Pepio, it's a little tougher to tame, a little more east to west. So yeah I think Stone's just going to absolutely ball out.
D-Mac here with the spicy mustard take, comparing Gavin Stone to Walker Buehler.
Well, it's not like player, but
it's not apples to oranges, but
it does feel like he's that next dude, that next guy. Yeah, and look, Bobby Miller, 101.3 on the gun, so things are trending in the right direction for some of these starters.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's as high on Bobby Miller anymore.
He's him, Doug? Gavin Stone, he's him?
I would say he still has to prove something to me, but I definitely think he has
three-quarters him.
He has the potential. I just think the way that you need that changeup in modern Major League Baseball, and still the fastball, 95, 96. I mean, he can still paint the corners and hit his fastball. The key for him is just throwing it for strikes and avoiding the heart of the plate. But you're going to be very impressed with this guy.
That's what I was going to ask. I wanted to ask, what are your expectations? And you're already kind of in it, and you already started it in a way. But give us that nice packageable that we can post on
just
social
for the first
media.
Start?
Expectations for Gavin Stone.
I would say my expectations for him this year, I think he makes anywhere from 8 to 10 starts. I think he has an ERA of sub 3, maybe something like 2.83, something like that. I definitely think he's going to have an impact. And once he gets that taste and you see that first start and he has some success, he's going to be addicted to that big league success. We know this fan base is very excited to have him basically be a guy that can be that next great Dodgers pitcher down the farm. And I think, too, he fills an absolute need. So I think this season, 8 to 10 starts. I think in his first start, I think he'll go, let's give him 5 innings. Let's go 4 2/3. 4 2/3 of 2-run ball. But I think you get 8 strikeouts.
Ooh, I saw another 8 strikeout prediction in the chat. I like it, man. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to see this. The baby Dodgers, that we're going to call them, because, well, one, all the kids and all the strollers in the clubhouse, but 2, you got, there's going to be 4 rookies now on the roster. Another one at some point when Ryan Pepio does make his way back. You got the baby Dodgers are here. The youth movement is alive and extremely well. Just in time for summer, just in time for fun. And if you guys are ready for fun in summer, we're giving away stuff. Tried to segue, but guys, we have a giveaway going. Haven't done it in a little while, but I decided, damn it, this is the week to do it. We are announcing a giveaway. We're giving away a $50 gift credit to gearup.la. Here it is. You can pick out a couple of the shirts. These ones are cool. If you guys really want, there's a Blue Heaven one finally. We will hopefully someday get hats in there. You're not on there, buddy. But go to DodgersNation.com/giveaways to learn more information or get more information and actually enter to win the $50 gift credit. But this is spurred by it's a new month. We got Mother's Day coming up, Father's Day not too long after that. So we want to get Gear Up going again. We really want to make it a thing, and we want to highlight a new, I guess we'll call it a new feature. I'm over here, by the way. A new feature. It's the artist collection. Where's that link? I have a link somewhere. But anyways, there's a fella, Josh Furman, who we're working with. You guys could find him on Instagram. He gets some incredible shots of Dodger Stadium with his drone. So we're collaborating with him and trying to, along the way, spotlight more local artists to give them some sort of opportunity to get more visibility and hopefully make some money off of their work. A lot of times you see some great stuff, particularly with drones, particularly with photographers or artists, local artists who just have their stuff ripped off and posted by people on Instagram or whatever. Well, ideally, with GearUp.LA, they could find a way to actually make some money in their own pocket with it. So if you're a local artist or know one that might want to work with GearUp.LA, have them reach out to Dodgers Nation. But check it out. It's the local artist collection. You guys should see it somewhere on the GearUp.LA website or check the link in the description. Cool.
And the comments.
It's going to be up in the comments. But this is really cool. I don't know if you saw some of the shots. We should have got it going. There's a puzzle too, by the way, which is pretty cool of what you can get. There's handbags. There's like iPhone cases or whatever. So a bunch of really cool stuff with that. But let's get back into baseball. Dodger talk here. I don't know, Mr. Muscles.
Okay,
We've had a month. We've had a month of baseball, just past the 1 month mark. That feels like it's time for some report cards. I'm mostly going to lean on you because I trust you. You're the man who brings his facts to the fight. You bring the numbers. You bring the stats. We know Noel brings the noise. You bring the numbers.
Yes, sir.
Shout out Nose by Noel.
Yes, sir.
Subscribe to us all the way. Also on Lakers248.com. Takes you to a website. Lineup. What is your report card for this Dodgers lineup? 1 month, little janky month, we'll call it, just because of the injuries, and you played without Will Smith for almost 3 weeks. What's that report card?
I think based on the standard that we have for this lineup, when you look at the talent from top to bottom, I'm going to give them a solid B. But it's also close to an incomplete because you have had guys miss out of the lineup. We've also gotten big contributions from James Outman and Max Muncy. Those were two guys that heading into the season, they were big question marks. You didn't know if James Outman was even going to be an average big league hitter. Well, guess what? He's the rookie of the year as of right now. Max Muncy, you didn't know if he was going to have a bounce back season. Guess what? He's an MVP candidate. So you check out both of those boxes, and then Freddie Freeman and Mookie Betts, they haven't caught fire as of yet. You know that is going to be coming. JD Martinez led the league with extra base hits, so he's a guy that has been able to produce in his role. I just want to see the bottom of the lineup. Guys like Miguel Vargas, I've been very bullish on. You know, like you said, I'm the conductor of the Miguel Vargas hype train. Want to see him hit with a little more consistency, and I think we are seeing that. He is being more aggressive at the plate. You're seeing him on first pitches really put his bat on the ball. Yeah. If you look at their numbers as a whole, a 106 weighted runs created plus, that's good for 8th. Second all of Major League Baseball with 47 bombs. They are 9th in slugging at 433. So you want to see some more extra base hits, some more doubles mixed in there, but they are 27th in batting average at 224. They're 24th in strikeout rate. Their 130 walks are first in the league, but a 171 batting average versus lefties and a 622 OPS. So the big bugaboo for this team is that they have been unable to have success against lefties. So if they correct that, then I think you're going to see more of a complete lineup. But I'm going with the B.
Yeah, I'm surprised you're going that high. It's a C for me, maybe even a C minus. It's a see me after class. Needs improvement mark on the old school report card. I don't know what they look like these days anymore, but this is a lineup that it really hasn't gotten the most out of its stars. You mentioned Freddie. You kind of you wanted more out of me last Friday about Mookie, but you look at how important Mookie is supposed to be for this team, and we're just kind of giving him a pass. He's not, and he knows he's not doing well. He's not doing bad, but he's not, he's not being the table setter that this team needs. So Mookie's kind of sort of not a problem, but he's not doing what he's supposed to do. He's not doing an A or B grade worth of work. Same with Freddie. Freddie, I think, he definitely had his worst month as a Dodger. It was still pretty decent. Will Smith, incomplete. You missed 3 weeks of school, buddy. What's going on here? Peralta, David Peralta's kind of in that same Trace Thompson boat. I give high marks to Jason Hayward for sticking to it and kind of coming out of it. He's hitting 296 or something like that since April 18th and is hitting the hell out of the ball. James Outman has battled through 2 different versions of mini slumps to come out of it. I mean, then there's the rest of people like Barnes, who's, not good hitting the baseball. We all know that, but he's Austin Barnes and we love him. Miguel Vargas, another one, incomplete work, or really that's a C- because we haven't seen the bat that they said would come up. Shortstop has been in flux. Chris Taylor has not been very good. So I don't know. That's just it's a C to C- for me. But there's a lot of room for improvement. We just need guys to show up to class, which we are going to see as people get healthy.
Lots of truants, lots of guys playing hooky. I will say Mookie definitely looks like he's hitting the ball harder, more consistently. You saw him hit the ball on the screws, saw a home run out of him. I think Mookie's going to have a big May. He had a big May last year after a slow start. Freddie Freeman, who definitely seems like he's the guy who his parents had the bumper sticker on the back of the car saying, my son was student of the month at so-and-so. I think Freddie's one of those guys. He actually had a better week last year. I mean, you basically fixed him when he had that multi-home run game, but he hasn't been each and every night the consistent hitter that we're accustomed to seeing. He goes 8 for 24, hit over 300 last week. But I think when you look at this lineup, I'm very encouraged by what I saw this weekend against the Cardinals. If they can combine their slug with the occasional small ball and kind of just meld that and swirl that like a little McDonald's Froyo swirly, right? If they can mix that, I have the McDonald's on my mind. Thanks a lot, Noel. If they can combine that,
McFlurry.
They have so many McFlurry. They have so many talented hitters on this team that it's just about getting more production consistently from the bottom of that lineup and finding a way to be more consistent against lefties. But I mean, there's still a lot of talent. I think too, if I had to pick between Mookie and Freddie having a hot start versus Muncy and Hayward and Muncy and Outman and even Hayward too, proving that they can look the part, I would take the latter. So
Fair.
I think that I'd rather see those guys who it was important for them to have hot starts. Those guys have, and I think they're heading in the right direction. I think David Peralta too, I've kind of turned things around on him. If you look at his numbers, I mean, they're pretty disgusting. I mean, 1 for 18 last week, but he gives him that element where he can go up there and he's not afraid to give up an at-bat just to put the ball in play. And we're seeing that is a skill that you need guys to have. Also, he's played fantastic defense too. So, yeah, I mean, I think I give it a B because, look, I just look at the top of that lineup, how much talent is there, and they're still a top 10 team offensively, but for them to really get into, I'm like pretty much a C+, but they did a lot of extra credit. Like, Mookie Betts gets extra credit for playing shortstop, right, and stepping in. But it's a
so you're just a really, really
I'm
nice
a really easy.
teacher.
I'm like a PE teacher. Okay.
Yeah. So
You're like chemistry.
That definitely can see Doug as a PE teacher.
Yeah.
I'll take chemistry. Like, I feel like an English teacher would be really
English,
snooty. I'll take chemistry.
History. Your history.
Hell no. History's in the past, bro. Like you.
Let's go.
Showtime Dodgers fan gives the offense a C. Boomer Assassin says C, according to ESPN, which ESPN might have done one of these today as well. Sarah Morrison's stream, she's giving everything all here. She's throwing it all out, but C+ on offense, defense, B- and pitching a D. Feels, I don't know, I guess it's fair. A D is reasonable to argue. Joe Mama says C for can improve. Justin 2000 says, hi Clint, how are you? Shoulder really hurts. My neck's kind of bugging me, so you guys see me like kind of do this a lot with the whole twisting, but otherwise, I'm alive. It's another day in paradise, as somebody would say. You got something for me, by the way?
I do. I have a super chat.
Let's go.
Sorry, I had to ban somebody.
Attaboy.
Carlos Naptali. I'm sorry if I butchered
Carlos
your name. $4.99. He said, "How about we
go.
call them the baby bums, or is that a Brooklyn only thing?"
That works. I like that. That's strong.
Baby bums.
Hey, get my stamp of approval.
That's what's in. Make that a shirt.
The baby bums have all of our young players out there for sure. I think I love that. I love the baby bums.
I can dig that for sure. All right, let's get defense. Defense is quick. There's not very much, but what's your grade? What's your 1 month report card?
I mean, I think as a whole, I'll go C- because I'm factoring in the inability to hold runners, which is worse in the league. If you look at the third base position,
fair.
Max Muncy has really struggled at times. Miguel Vargas at second, he's graded out as a below average defender. Shortstop, you just had inconsistency at that position. The outfield, though, they've played the part. The outfield has been really solid, so I'll go with a C minus for now, but I know that talent-wise, they're still up there. I think they just need to put the same guys on. I mean, I think with Muncy, you've seen some hits down the line. He struggles with backhands and just kind of get into some balls. But, yeah, that would be my assessment. Go with the C.
C is probably fair, but I'll be the nice guy here and go B minus because why not?
Why not?
Because there's room for improvement. I think bringing up the Muncy, I think if you do factor in all the stolen bases against, that does play up. But there's room for improvement. But also, Mookie's doing what he does all the time. You're seeing some really good plays from James Outman, and you're seeing some incredible plays out of Jason Hayward, provided he can see the ball and doesn't boot it on a Kershaw start in right field. But and when you have Austin Barnes behind the plate, for the greater part, you're going to be pretty good. Hey, Freddie Freeman's pretty damn good at his job, and
true.
I would like to see more out of your good friend Miguel Vargas. It's fine. He's doing great for somebody that's literally just playing the position for the first time. But he's, in my opinion, he's not hitting enough to offset the kind of not great glove, not elite glove, or not even
arm's not great.
Gently below average defender right now. Starting pitching grade, 1 month report card. What you got for me, Kimo Sabi?
So starting pitching, it's like that guy who does all the work on the group project and everyone else takes the credit? Clayton Kershaw is that guy. So I'm going to give him an A. But if you look at the starting pitching as a whole, he carries so much weight, I will give it a B minus. But really, Julio Urias is the guy that I'm looking at as the guy that was supposed to have this generational year for himself, that was going to put himself in a position to get a big payday, and it was a passing of the torch as far as opening day and him being that opening day starter, but he has really, really struggled. He had a 4.73 ERA in April. He's struggling to finish off batters, especially with 2 strikes, a 1.93 home runs per 9. That's the 9th highest in Major League Baseball in 32 2/3 innings of work. And if I'm looking at that fastball too, the velo is down to 92.6. Opponents are teeing off on. They're hitting 339 off his heater this year. Last year, they were hitting below 200 at 195. The changeup last year, they were hitting 206. This year, they're hitting 313. You're seeing the spin is down 160 RPM on that changeup. So, yeah, to me, he's having a year similar to what we saw with Walker Buehler last season, where the velo was down, the command was down. We saw how his season ended. So, yeah, I think things will pick up for Julio. I think he needs to get himself into game shape as far as being on the mound and really adjusting to that pitch clock. But really, you look at this rotation. Kershaw's been elite. Julio has underperformed. Dustin May has had his starts. He shined at times, but the walks are still a problem. He had 4 walks against the Cardinals. He had a 5-walk game. He needs to command the baseball better.
Yeah, command's been a little down right now.
Noah Syndergaard hasn't been great. Tony Gaunt, Michael Grove had bad starts. So really, as a whole, this rotation hasn't been the rotation that we expected. So I'm going with a B- just because of how great Kershaw has been. They have eaten innings. They have even gone deep into games, even with bad starts. And Syndergaard has been able to eat innings, but it's a B- for me.
Yeah, I was going to say B- as well, just because you haven't really had the short start. It hasn't been an incredibly short start where the bullpen needs to come in and eat 8 innings or 7 innings or whatever. So for that, they get a good amount of credit for showing the work. The answers might be wrong, but they're showing their work, and now we're trying to figure out how to get to the right answer. So okay starting rotation, but not at all what we're used to. What are we at? I think they're 10th in the league or something like that in ERA as a starting staff. Not great. Not what we're used to out of the Dodgers. Let's see what we got here from J-Man76 is pitching C+. Also, again, pretty reasonable. Raphael asked if the Dodgers are going to re-sign. Well, technically asked if he's going to resign Walker Buehler, but re-sign Walker Buehler. Yeah, Walker's not going anywhere. If we're talking about a long-term contract, that's not happening yet. You got to see what he can do when he comes back from the injured list potentially this year. J-Man76 also says Kershaw, A+, dude's a beast still, so agrees with you on that. Most of the love going to Kershaw in the comments here. I don't know if you got anything. Mike Saldana saying the shift is affecting Urias.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I was screaming that on this show heading into the season that was going to be an adjustment, had some low BABIP numbers. But still, I mean, for him, you saw the pitch to Joe. I mean, he had 2 strikes on him, and he goes with that slurve. I mean, it's out over the middle of the plate. It was a hanging slurve. He looked like he was laboring at that point. So for him, I think with Julio, you need to see him improve that fastball command. And when he does that, then you're going to see him work the eye levels better. You're going to see him paint the zone a little more. And for him, he definitely relies on that command. And also, the first inning woes are pretty bad, too. A 9 ERA in the first inning. So, yeah, Julio definitely is going through it at the moment. You saw more cutter this season. I don't know if that was a move to compensate for the diminished velocity, the diminished effectiveness of that fastball, maybe to kind of mix things up, especially against righties. But he's going to be fine. He's a solid workhorse. Yeah. And I just don't think just a month into the season, you can write him off.
Yeah, I mean, it's surprising that they did so many changes. Again, we talked about it. We had a whole bunch on Julio last week, so if you guys want to see that, check it out on our YouTube channel. But I'm surprised that they kind of brought back so much, we'll say, wind-up or that variation of wind-up. He's really gone heavy in on that. He was great when it was fastball curve cambio, as Jay Hare would like to say 1,000 times. And now they're trying to get that slider cutter in there. Don't fix if it ain't broken sort of thing. That's kind of what I felt. You're coming off 2 great years. Why change? But also, you always want to keep getting better and improve. You also have heard Clayton Kershaw talk about adding a changeup for 14 years, and it didn't happen. You could try to, but you don't always need to bring it into the game. Anyways, relief corps, give me a report card.
So my relief... My report card for the relievers is I'm going to give them let's go with a B- as well. And if I have to grade the entire season, it's probably going to be a little of a different grade. You're probably going to see maybe a C or below. But they're like that student. They failed the midterm, but then they got it together after that, had a really strong final, kind of picked things up. Because if you look at the entire season, 4.76 ERA, that's 26th. They're 29th in opponents' batting average at 281. They've allowed 109 hits, that's good for 26th. 97 strikeouts is good for 25th. But since that 13-0 loss to the Cubs, where Jake Reed gave up 1 million runs and got DFA'd for the 50th time of his career, last 8 games, 28 1/3 innings, a 3.49 ERA, a 3.07 FIP, 12 holds. That leads all of Major League Baseball. The strikeout numbers have gone up a little bit, so they're trending in the right direction. We talked about Brusdar Graterol, who's been fantastic of late. I think one of the big things for this team was just guys just assuming these new roles and finding a way to be effective without the shift rules being optimized for them last year. And I think Phil Bickford, too. I mean, you look at Phil Bickford, 30% strikeout rate. I mean, there has been some positive signs, but yeah.
He's one of those guys that's like fine. You don't want him in there in the 8th in a close game. The fact that, you have really, 3 or 4 guys that are not butt pucker guys right now. You have...
I love that.
You have Ferguson, you have Shelby Miller, you have Brusdar, and you have Evan Phillips. Those are the guys that come in. You feel really good, bullish, if you will. There's the one kind of middle dude, and that's Bickford. But then you're still like, I do not feel overly great when Yancey or Vesia come in, but some signs of improvement there since we lambasted them last week, I think is the right way of saying it. So. B- C+. I'm gonna go C+ because I don't want to copy off your homework here. Mike Saldana says I'd send Vesia to continuation school because people
give all these guys a bunch of Addy or something. I mean, like I think I'll throw 9.
The old school. That's how we did it. Give them greenies.
No, but we got Don Kim. But what if the bad grades are because of their teacher? That's what Don Kim said. Hey, don't blame the teacher, okay?
Perfect segue. Dave Roberts. Give me a Dave Roberts report card. Month 1.
I'm going to give him an F for fire Dave. No, I'm just playing. I'm just messing with you, Doc. Look, I mean, he can only teach as well as his students are learning, right? I mean, it's all about the students that are in his seats, okay?
How do I reach these kids?
Exactly. How do I reach these kids? Classic movie, of course, Stand and Deliver. But, yeah, I think...
Nothing gets by you, Chief.
I'm gonna give Dave Roberts. I'll give him. Look, I think
That's the joke.
I think one thing that Dave has done, he's given a lot of these young guys a lot of confidence. I like when he was talking to Michael Busch the other day, telling him how to look at Nolan Arenado, how he's playing the third base position. I think that his confidence that he bestows on these young players is very important this season. Of course, we got the we call them the baby bums, right?
Baby bums.
And then also trying to get some of these guys through slumps. Guys like Chris Taylor, guys like Max Muncy, getting them through slumps while just trying to navigate and tread waters, because I think that's really what his value is. So I think Dave Roberts, you look at this team, I got to give him a B- as well. Nothing to write home about or anything like that, but you can still make the honor roll.
He's I don't know where you don't get an A necessarily. It's not an A plus. It's probably an A minus, because there's some we'll say some homework that he didn't complete all the answers on, or didn't complete all 25 questions on. But for the most part, he's navigating with what he has, with what people were doing at that moment. And you know, I'm always happy to be critical on Dave, but I've seen a few games this year where, you know, you're seeing him adjust. You're actually seeing the adjustment out of Dave Roberts, where he didn't just keep going to Alex Vesia for, you know, every situation that he would have gone in last year, where, you know, it's the 8th inning or whatever. You're starting to see him already back off and getting him into less high leverage situations to get the confidence going and make that adjustment, as where we saw Craig Kimbrell, which, by the way, welcome back to LA, Craig. Saw Craig Kimbrell go out there for 5 months with the closer's job and be terrible. You're seeing that quicker. I don't know if it's a ripcord, but Dave's at least making that adjustment. You're not seeing Vesia or Almonte or some of the guys that were struggling early in the season. I guess Dave adjusted. It's really those two guys. You're not seeing them pitch in you know, a 1 or 2 run game as frequently as you were early in the season to try to get them going again. So that and you know, trusting some of the guys in the lineup. Yeah, it's always going to be the same for the most part, 1, 2, 3 guys. But you know, I think he's kind of had an odd sense of when to put guys higher up in the lineup. I mean, Outman's hit third or fourth a couple of times. He's done really well. You were talking about it. We were talking about before the show. He plugs in Hayward in the number 3 hole, and he goes off and has a 2-hit game. CTK3 goes and has an important RBI or important game, clutch game, batting in the cleanup spot. Well, I think that's what happened, unless that was the game where he went golden sombrero. I don't know, but for the most part, he's working with what he has. He's doing the assignments. He's not putting in the extra credit or whatever. I guess maybe the Michael Busch thing is extra credit, but
Yeah.
I'm seeing some good things out of Dave. I'm not a always Dave defender. I will happily slam him. You guys can watch 6 years of this show. I will happily slam him when it is due, but right now it is not due. He's not doing anything wrong. He's doing the assignment.
Yeah, no, he's doing Dave things. I mean, really, he's had a lot of Harvard students, a lot of summa cum laude students in the last few years. Now he has a lot of freshmen, right, and a lot of these young players trying to come up and have an impact. But you still have the veterans. But I think he's sending guys to detention quicker, like you said, suspending students if he needs to. I think that's what you want to see from Dave. You want to have him shake that whole loyalty thing. Yeah. And if guys are not performing well and you have other options and you got to shake things up, then that's what you need to do. But I think this is a big month for Dave Roberts and this team. If you can have a really good May like you did last season, then I think that's going to change the narrative and just the momentum of this team. Because I think one of the big disappointing things for the Pirates series is they take 3 of 4 against the Cubs, you're riding that momentum, and then you lose 2 of 3. The pitching is not doing well. You see the base running errors and just that kind of stuff. So
hell, that's not even Dave as much. That's what's being preached to the pitchers. Don't lose your stuff to keep guys on base, like you were kind of told at the ballpark over the weekend. The pitching staff doesn't care about the runners. They care about their usual routine in a windup. There's one guy who cares, and that's Clayton Kershaw. He cares about people getting an extra 90 on him.
Yeah, like Dave is the principal, right? He's not the teacher that's in every class.
Yes.
Right? They have all their teachers, their pitching coaches and this and that. Yeah, we should do this great thing. We're taking it so far.
Don Kim says, I love these school analogies by D-Mac. This has been fun, honestly, like just pulling all this out. So good job, everybody in the stream for keeping it going. Yeah, Don Keem also getting us going with the bad grades because of the teacher, all that. Yeah, this was fun. We had a good time.
I like to shake Roberts. That's from Mike Saldano. Okay, that's a threat. We got Ray Barrios. Shohei's ERA is 1.85. Sign the man. Oh, come on now. Dave Luna. It all started towards the end of the Canley era. So do we blame Canley? Okay, I always like when you get the arguments within the chat. That always happens. We had a good one from Boomer Assassin earlier. He said, good to see Crumble again on another team. That's from Boomer Assassin. So got Dave is Dave from Joe Mama. Yeah, I mean, look, Dave Roberts can only do what he can, and he basically does his role that he has for this team as well as anyone can do it. I'm just telling you straight up. I mean, I really do believe that.
So that's been grades. We'll do 2-month report card when we get to 2 months. Let's quickly get up to what's next, and then we'll get the hell out of here. This is the week ahead, and it's going to be brought to you by the DN app. Hey, guys, go download the Dodgers Nation app. It's in your app store. It's a good way to keep up on the Dodgers calendar and everything else going on. You can also find all the YouTube stuff there and the podcasts and things like that. So Dodgers Nation app in your app store. Number 1 Dodgers app in the Apple App Store. How did we do last week in our predictions? I nailed it, 4-2. You totally messed up saying they're going to be 5-1.
But I did correctly predict the sweep, though. I did get the sweep right.
It's fair. What do we think? So we got 3 with Phillies, and you got 3 in San Diego after that. What are you feeling with that 6-game set?
I'm going to go probably conservative and say, 4-2. It's a little optimistic. I think you got Strom, a lefty. The Phillies, they're coming off that series against the Astros. They have a lot of confidence. You got Bryce Harper back. You got Tony Gonsolin on the bump tonight going against Taijuan Walker. Aaron Nola going against an ace against Gavin Stone. And San Diego, I think you don't look at their record. I think you kind of throw out the records when it's the Padres versus the Dodgers, especially heading into this series. You know that there's going to be a parade inside their city, if they do beat the Dodgers. So we'll see how they fare in that series. But I'm going 4-2, Clint.
Got 4-2. I like 4-2. I think I'm going to stick 4-2, but instead, I'll do it just for fun. So somebody can be wrong or somebody could be closer to right. I do 5-1.
Let's go.
It's not going to be 5-1. You got 3-3? Is that what I saw?
No, I said I went 3-3 last week. I said
you went 3.
3.
Okay, so you're way wrong.
I'll go 5-1 too with Clint.
We got White Pill.
6-0.
6-0. That's what's up. That fool bringing the noise. What do you call him again?
Noise by Noel, Young Lotto.
Yeah, Young Nasty. Is that what we call him?
AKA Young Lotto.
All right, we already said it. You know, the big things with Philly coming in. Trey Turner comes back to Dodger Stadium. We already had. What do you got? What happened?
I just realized Phillies and Padres.
Phillies going down to yellow and brown.
That's what's in.
Beautiful. We got to work on the harmonies, boys, but it was right there. We got to get the dance down. I like to compete. Craig Kimber returns to L.A. Bruce Hoffer is coming off the IL on Tuesday to make his 2023 debut at the same ballpark he made his major league debut as a 19-year-old. Bryce Harper, I'm honestly excited about that. I don't feel bad, but it sucks for the Phillies to have the season they had. And then, Harper obviously had the Tommy John surgery, like you said, 5 days ago, and he's already back. And to lose Rhys Hoskins just before opening day to the ACL tear. So that's tough, but it's a good matchup on paper. It's fun. It's one of those teams that's supposed to be a better team. They went out and made some splashy moves. You sign Trey Turner for $300 million. They go and take Taijuan Walker from the Mets, who's not having a great year to start his year. Same with Aaron Nola, but we know what those guys are capable of. You already said, I think it's Walker, Gonsolin, Strom, Urias, Nola. It's going to be Stone. It's not going to be Dustin May. It's going to be Gavin Stone. So it's going to be a fun series. We'll be back here on Friday doing what we do, making fart jokes and all that kind of stuff. I think. Is that what we do? But guys, appreciate you hanging out with us as always. Appreciate the comments and all that kind of stuff. You have something good? Oh, you don't. You're giving me stage direction. Appreciate the stage direction. He is like, give me some YMCA over here. Find us on the internet at DodgersNation.com. Please do subscribe to our newsletter on there, DodgersNation.com/subscribe. It would be that would be nice and helpful. I'm Real FRG on Twitter and Instagram. That guy's DMac_LA on Twitter and Instagram. This is Blue Heaven. We're on all the podcast spots. Please do subscribe to our YouTube channel, YouTube.com/DodgersNationTV. Hit the bell, leave a like, do all of that stuff, and we'll be happy. Thank you again for the comments and questions, and we will see you on Friday. Bye.